You ever feel like you're losing fights that you should be winning? Well, guys, you're not alone on this, and there's a lot of things you're probably doing wrong that actually lead to this, and we're gonna fix every single one of those today. What is up, guys? My name is Nick and welcome back to another Black Ops 7 video, man. Like I said, today we're going to be making you a much better player by fixing everything that you do wrong without realizing it. In Black Ops 7, I'm going to go through 33 mistakes holding you back and how to fix them instantly. And the first one I want to talk about is literally sprinting around every single corner, sprinting into every single room, and just sprinting everywhere you go. You want to be fast, you want to get places quickly, but it ends up dropping you and ending your game a lot sooner than you would think. So what I would recommend in this situation is when you go into a new room, just crouch walk it or slide if you know exactly where an enemy is, rather than sprinting. If you sprint, one, you're not going to know where the enemy is, they're going to drop you fast. Two, your sprint to fire speed is probably slow, so you can't even react in time. And three, if there is an enemy hiding in the corner, I just dropped something. If there is an enemy hiding in the corner, he's going to get you nice and easily. After that, we're going to go to number 2, and that is reloading after every single kill. This happens to me all the time. You kill someone, you start reloading your gun, another dude pops up. You had 30 bullets left in your mag. You did not need to reload that, but you do it anyways, and it's something that's really common and it gets a lot of people off guard, and myself as well. So if you could stop that reloading addiction, you're good to go. All right, guys. Now, if any of these are helping you at all, if you realize that you do stuff like this, make sure to drop a like. It actually helps me know that this content is useful. Going to number 3, not pre-aiming common head glitches. Head glitches are something that a lot of enemies are going to be on. It's something that you should be on as well, but you just got to know that there's common ones that enemies are going to be at a lot of times, whether it's up in a window, whether it's behind something that you could barely see, like maybe they're behind a stack of wood and you can only see their forehead. You want to pre-aim these areas with that little center dot on your screen every single time. If you don't, you're just giving yourself a horrible shot at winning that gunfight. I would say there's probably a 5% chance you could come out on top if you're sprinting around a corner with your dot pointed at the floor and someone is behind a nasty head glitch. You're not winning that, all right? So make sure you guys change that as well. Number 4, you challenge every single gunfight immediately. You don't plan, you don't think, you just go. You see someone, you push them. You might be out in the open, they might be behind an object, you're pushing them anyways. You're in a horrible situation, a horrible position. Do not do that. Make sure that when you do see someone, make sure you got rocks near you, make sure you got a building near you, make sure you got some sort of cover around you and an escape plan in case things go sour. You want to get out of there, maybe you have a smoke grenade, use it, abuse it, do what you got to do with it. But do not just stand there out in the open. And speaking of that, going to number 5, standing still while shooting. You want to at least move your left stick just a millimeter in every single gunfight. 1, this is going to activate your rotational aim assist. It's going to make it stronger. It's going to make you hit those shots a lot easier. 2, you don't want to just be a sitting duck sitting out there in the open letting the enemies drop you and stuff. You want to be able to move around. You want to slide. You want to drop shot. You want to jump shot. You want to do whatever you have to do. Just do not stand still and shoot unless the enemy has their back turned against you. Then you could probably get away with it. But if they have really nasty movement, you're probably still going to get messed up anyways. Going to number 6, ignoring minimap info. And I would argue not just minimap info, but ignoring the kill feed as well, especially on multiplayer. If you're on Warzone, it doesn't really matter too much because the kill feed is just random. It's just people anywhere on the map. But if you're on multiplayer, focus on that kill feed. If you see that your 6 teammates, or your 5 teammates, I should say, just ended up all dying at the same time, you should look at that minimap, try to figure out where they were, and hopefully look at that minimap before the kill feed, and then you would just know where the enemies are coming from and stuff, and you could stay away from that area. If you're playing Warzone, you want to keep an eye on that minimap. Some people are shooting, some stuff is happening, you could see some things, calling UAVs at all times, and be good at what you do. All right, going down to number 7, re-peeking the same angle twice. You ever peek out of a window, get completely blasted by someone, but you don't get knocked or you don't die, and then you just heal up and you go back to that same window and the same thing happens, except this time they actually knock you? Yeah, don't do that. Don't re-peek the same angle twice. They know where you're at, they know where you're coming from, and they are already aiming down sights there. So make sure you guys do not re-peek, all right? And at number 8, this is shooting before your aim is settled. Now, this is great up close. This is fine up close. You actually want to start shooting before you fully ADS in close range gunfights. It's going to help you a lot. You're going to get drops on the enemy before you even ADS. It's nice, but when you're in mid-range and far range, you do not want to start shooting that gun before you ADS because you're already giving yourself recoil. You're already making it a worse gunfight for you. You want to wait till you're fully ADS, especially if there's an enemy that's not even looking at you and they're really far away. Just hold it out a sec. Wait, fully aim at them, and then start blasting, all right? That's something that you definitely want to do. Now, I'm going to say, I want to go on to the next one, But this is something that I have struggling with, or I'm struggling with, I should say, as well, and that is taking 50-50 gunfights. I personally try to take every single gunfight I see. Whether I'm at an advantage point, whether I'm not at an advantage point, I will try to give myself the advantage, but don't take 50-50 gunfights, okay? If you feel like there's a chance that you will lose that gunfight, but you do have a getaway, take the getaway every single time, all right? If not, you're just gonna get dropped, you're not gonna win it, and it's gonna get really dang annoying. So make sure you guys are doing that as well. Next off, I want to talk about number 10, and that is bad crosshair placement. We went over this briefly before. You do not want to have your crosshairs pointed at the ground. You do not want to have your crosshairs pointed at the sky. You want your crosshairs to actually act like your eyeballs. You want to use it as your eyes. Wherever your eyes are looking is where your crosshairs should be looking as well. That center dot in the center of your screen. They should be pointed theoretically at doors, at windows, somewhere where enemies could pop out of and have an advantage on you. At least you're giving yourself some way to win the gunfight, a little bit of an advantage to win that gunfight, because all you have to do is ADS and start shooting if an enemy does pop out where your crosshair is. So that's actually really good, but make sure you're not just using it randomly and pointing it at the ground. It's going to be really bad. Number 11, you over peak angles. All right, this is something that again, a lot of these are stuff that I struggle with, which is why I made the list. But this is something that you don't want to do too often, right? If you're peeking an angle and you see an enemy, just wait a little bit. Go on that nasty head glitch, do what you got to do. But there's some people who just jump out and try to get that gunfight, and now you're at a worse position. You were in a position on that head glitch where you would have won 9 out of 10 gunfights in that situation, but by jumping out and trying to see the enemy a little more clearly, you're making it a 50-50 chance, and you do not want to do that. So do not over peak any angles. Just hold it nicely, and you will do good. At number 12, not using cover properly. And I had to say this because it goes with the last one that we spoke about. You want to use cover properly. If you're behind a head glitch, but it's a low head glitch, you're not just going to stand there and let the enemy shoot at your whole entire body beside your legs. You're going to crouch. You're going to go behind the crouch nicely. If you're behind an object in the corner because you know that there's an enemy pushing you and stuff, but once he turns that corner, he's going to see you easily, but you have no idea when he's coming, don't use that to your advantage. Make sure that you're pointed in a different angle, a different direction, where you could see when the enemy's coming to you, and you're really hard to be seen, if that makes any sense. It's a tough one to understand, but you just got to play it properly, all right? At number 13, fighting multiple enemies at once. I do this, all right? I don't mean to do it, but I might be playing Warzone. I might be alone for a little second, and there's going to be multiple enemies there. Yeah, 9 out of 10 times, I don't care what your skill level is, if you're playing in actual legit lobbies, you're going to be losing those gunfights, all right? You're not going to play 4 people on your skill level and drop all 4 of them unless you get extremely lucky. Now, if you're playing in bot lobbies, you could drop 20 people against one. It doesn't matter. People do it. There's gameplay of it. You see it. But if you're fighting multiple enemies at once, you're probably going to lose. You're probably playing in legit lobbies, so make sure that you are not doing that, all right?
Why did that work?
Number 14, not repositioning after kills. You stay in the exact same spot, the exact same area, and you just let enemies know exactly where you are, especially if you're playing like Resurgence. If you drop someone, they're coming down from the sky. They know exactly where you are, and they're ready to drop you. They're angry. They're ready to come for revenge. They're going to get you, all right? They're going to push up their teammates, and they're all going to get you. You want to reposition, even if it's only like 5 meters away. This way, once they run into wherever they think you are, they're going to start shooting in that direction. Well, now you might be behind them, and you could easily drop them. So go ahead and do that. Number 15, panic shooting instead of actually tracking. You see someone. He sees you, he's moving a lot, he's got crazy movement. You just are shooting everywhere and you're missing all your shots. And then he drops you and you say, well, I shot first, I should have won that. Yeah, no, you're panicking, dude. You're missing more than 50% of your shots. You're going to lose that. Just stay calm, stay cool, track properly. You're gonna win the gunfight the calmer you are. Then once you start panicking or getting angry or anything, you're gonna start losing gunfights. Number 16, not adjusting aim height properly, all right? If you see someone and they're running down the map, and they're going to be coming around the corner, you do not want to be aiming in front of that corner on the ground, because you will be shooting at their feet. You want to start aiming at their chest level. You want that gun to be at somebody's chest level, and I'm always going to say this. The chest is the biggest part of the enemy to hit. It is the easiest part of the enemy to hit, and if you have recoil or flinch, if they start shooting at you, they are giving you free headshots. You're going to start shooting upwards into their head, and it's going to be free headshots for you, free drops, free kills, and all that kind of stuff. If you aim at the head and then you have recoil or flinch, well, if you're not controlling it properly, you're now shooting the sky. So I always say aim exactly at the chest and you're good to go. Now, let's be honest, guys. Which one of these things so far do you catch yourself doing the most? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm really curious to see what most people struggle with in this game. I struggle with almost everything, so if I were to leave a comment, it would be a list of 16 already. Let's go down to number 17. These are small little fixes that double your skill instantly, all right? This one right here. Wrong attachments for a playstyle. If you're playing with an SMG but you're using all attachments that give you range and nothing that's going to give you speed, you're playing wrong, especially if you're getting into gunfights all at close range and you're ready to drop people so fast and you're always in gunfights in buildings or something. You want something to be fast. You don't want to use attachments that are built for distance. It just doesn't make sense. And the same goes for if you always fight at distance, don't use an SMG with speed attachments and try to drop somebody 30 meters out. It's not going to happen. You want to use an AR with attachments for recoil control, damage range, bullet velocity, all that kind of stuff. You do not want to use the wrong attachments. Going down to number 18, you're using a bad sensitivity setup. You might have a really high sensitivity. You might be playing on 4.0 vertical and horizontal, which is wicked. It's so fast, but then you have like a 0.90 ADS sensitivity. It's just weird. It messes with your brain. It just doesn't work right, all right? Now I'm gonna give you guys a bonus one. You guys want nice lobbies. You want lag-free lobbies. Make sure you use no lag VPN. It's gonna bring your connection down to the best possible connection you could get. I got a link in the description, and I got you guys with over 60% off right now, so make sure you go ahead and do that. No lag VPN is awesome, and I use it whenever I'm struggling, especially because I live in a rural area. It is what it is. Going to number 19. All right, you're not using movement properly. You're sliding at the wrong time. You're jumping at the wrong time. You're just not doing it right. All right, make sure that you guys are using movement properly. If you're going through a doorway, you might want to slide. If an enemy comes up in front of you and he's ready to drop you and you're face to face, you might want to drop shot. If you are behind an object, you do not want to jump shot and give him more parts of your body to shoot at. So make sure you guys are using movement properly. It works. You don't have to be crazy. You don't have to have TikTok movement, but just have good movement. Going to number 20. Poor close range centering. Now, close range is different than all other ranges in this game. When you're playing in close range, I always recommend using your crosshair to aim rather than ADSing. If you could ADS, maybe they're 10 meters out, ADSing might help you, but if they're moving like crazy, you do not want to be caught ADSing and just trying to win those gunfights, all right? Just don't do that. Make sure that you guys are centering properly, you have those crosshairs ready to shoot, and you can start shooting before you ADS. Again, we mentioned that earlier. Now, 21, I've noticed this one like crazy, man. You ignore audio cues. I could run around in Resurgence as loud as I want because I know that people are barely listening to my footsteps because they're talking too much in a party or something. That works. And if you guys listen for footsteps, it'll tell you everything you need to know. So trust me, if you're using a headset, listen for footsteps. You will win a lot of gunfights because of your ears. It's weird, but it is what it is. Going to number 22, not learning spawn flow. Now, this is for multiplayer specifically, all right? If you're playing multiplayer and you're dropping someone ahead of you and you look at your minimap and there's no teammates ahead of you, the enemies are going to be spawning in front of you. They're going to be coming. They're not going to be spawning behind you. They're not going to be spawning to your left or anything. They're still going to be spawning in front of you as long as you didn't push the spawn too hard. Make sure you know this, all right? You guys need to know that. Going to number 23, holding useless angles. And this is something like, let's say you're behind a rock on Warzone, all right? You're standing behind a rock, but nobody ever goes to this part of the map. What's the point of being behind that rock, dude? You're just gonna wait for absolutely nothing, and then the storm is gonna come and poke you in the butt, and you're gonna have to run. Don't do that either, guys. Going to number 24, wasting time rotating too late. Like I said, if it pokes you in the butt, it's a little too late. Now you're in a position where you gotta run, you gotta beat that storm, and there could be people up ahead waiting for you to drop you, and they're just waiting for you to come in. And you can't even think at this point. The storm is fast, it's pushing in, and you gotta know where to go. You gotta get away from it. And you gotta run into bullets. Not worth it, in my opinion. Now, I'm gonna say, I wanna go to number 25. And this one is more about like playing the game wrong than anything else. You might be playing too fast, all right? This is number 25. You might be playing the game a little too fast. Slow down. If you notice that you're losing a lot of gunfights because you're running quickly into gunfights you shouldn't be, slow down, take a breather, relax. It's cool. We're not all on Adderall here, all right? Number 26, you might be playing too slow. Maybe you want to play a little faster. Might not work for you either. Maybe you're just sitting in one area the whole entire game. You're not warmed up. You're not in gunfights. You're not ready for a gunfight. You're sitting in one area hoping you can make it to the final circle, but by the time you make it to the final circle, you got 0 kills whatsoever. That is the worst thing you could do, because now you went like 10-15 minutes without even getting into a gunfight. You're not ready for it. The enemies probably got into like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 gunfights. They're ready to drop you, all right? Play a little quicker, man. You got to push some gunfights. Going to number 27, forcing fights instead of waiting. Like I said, you got to push some gunfights, but you don't want to force every single gunfight. If somebody's in the building and you're out in the open, don't push them. Don't do it. Don't get into that gunfight, especially if they don't see you. Don't get into it. Just get to another position. Just be weary of where they are. Try to keep an eye on them, but don't get into a gunfight if you absolutely don't have to and you're in a worse position. Number 28, this goes with that, ignoring power positions. If you are that team in the house and you see enemies outside, get into that gunfight by all means, all right? You're in the top window, you are hard to hit, get into that gunfight, and you will win most of the time. Number 29, though, you don't want to ego challenge them with it, all right? Especially after you take damage. If you take damage, and let's say they took off your shield, don't pop up at that window again. You're going to die. It's not worth it. It's not fun. It is what it is. But do not go back to that window. It's just not worth it in my opinion, all right? So make sure you're not ego challenging every single thing either. It's just, it is a thing. There are some situations where you could win it, but it's really bad. Number 30, you blame your aim instead of your positioning. You say maybe your aim assist is weak. Maybe the other guy has better aim assist. You guys have both the same exact aim assist, all right? Unless you're using awful settings, which hopefully you're not. Hopefully you guys watch my settings videos and you get the stickiest aim possible, because it is the stickiest aim possible. But don't blame anything, all right? It's you. I blame stuff too. I get mad. I like to say it's the game's fault. Sometimes it is. Sometimes the game is awful. Sometimes I freeze. I'm going to blame the game for that. But if you are losing a gunfight because you are missing shots, it is definitely your aim. If you're losing a gunfight because you're out in the open, it's not your aim, it's your positioning, bro. Make sure you got good positioning. Number 31, you're not adapting mid-game, all right? You're still playing like it's the beginning of the game, or you're still looting everything, or you're playing like it's the end of the game, where you're just trying to hide and trying to win the final gunfight. Just trust me, guys, mid-game is very important. If you could get rid of those teams in the mid-game, you are going to have a much easier final circle, all right? So yeah, let's do that. Now, to number, what is it, 32? I think we're at 32. This is a little advanced, and this is why good players look really unfair. You aren't doing this. You're not predicting enemy movement. If you know that the enemy's running right, he goes behind a rock, he's going to come out on the right side. If he saw you, he's not going to come out on the right side. He's going to peek back on that left to drop you. You got to know where enemies are. You got to know exactly where they're going to go before they know where they're going to go. And this comes with practice. This just comes with time and stuff. So don't worry if you can't get it right away, but play more and that will come to you easily. At number 33, bad timing on pushes and rotations. This could happen by fluke. It happens to me, it happens to everyone. But the more you play this game, the more your rotations get better, the more your timing on pushes gets better. If you see that you shoot a bunch of people, you and your teammates get 3 guys, no shield, push. That's the time to push. Don't wait. Don't try to heal up yourselves. Push and heal at the same time and do what you got to do, all right, guys? Now, if I fix anything, even just half of these, and your gameplay changes instantly, make sure to drop a like on this one, and if this helps you out at all, subscribing helps me more than anything, and I post a lot of breakdowns and best settings like this, so hopefully you guys could go ahead and check that out. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Nick, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.